What's up, guys? It's your boy here, and today we're gonna go through the 10K project file. Pretty much a tutorial on how I made 10K, so go check out 10K if you have not. And the reason I'm doing this is because so many people are asking for it. Not only that, but I just put up a video yesterday, and you guys are still asking for it, which is amazing. So let's get right to it and waste no time. And upon this tutorial, I will also explain my logic behind why I did certain things in this and hopefully make a pretty cool video for you guys. So let's start off right away. So we got this little thing, which is just a piano. Looks like it's just a straight piano sample. So it sounds like I took this and then I bounced it in place. And I got this thing, and to make that little tape stop effect, it's actually really easy. I have a video on how to make a tape stop effect, or you can just search on YouTube how to do a tape stop effect in Logic, and you will learn how to make this exact thing. Because you get this little fade tool here, hold down Command, and then fade away. And then you right click the fade and actually turn it into a slowdown, and right there is a nice tape stop effect. So I don't really need that there, so I'm just gonna undo that because we don't need that. And then it starts off with a nice little thing that reminds me of Super Mario. I know how to make that in Sylenth, so I made that in Sylenth. It's a square wave is the main idea, with some arpeggiator to make it, to make it kind of sound like that. There's a lot of delay on it too, which is why you hear all that echo. What we got going in the background is some Logic X pianos with a ton of reverb. As you can hear, it's still decaying, so I'll play it again. And that's not the piano you hear, that is just the reverb on the piano that you hear. And it looks like I use silver Verb. That's interesting. I never used silver Verb. And yeah. So I got that, and then I got the background little synthesizer. So together, these things kind of do their thing. And I'll be honest, these chords, I just made these chords just to throw them down as like placeholder chords. I was gonna make them into this like nice melody later, but then I ended up making the drop, and I was like, well, if I make these into a strong melody, then the drop's gonna sound like really dinky. So I didn't want to take anything away from that powerful drop, so I just kind of kept these chords basic because I ended up liking them. I think they sound really cool. Now these things, let me see, I made these in Alchemy, and I used 3 oscillators of 3 different waves, a sine, a triangle, and a pulse, and they kind of sound like an opera, kind of like a choir. I said opera, but I did mean choir. It literally sounds like a few people like in the background going like ooh, whatever. Sounds really cool. I threw some Space Designer on that. I should have kept everything on silver Verb. I think that would have been so interesting. This is my girlfriend up here. What are you guys doing? She should really be in my videos more. And like not only that, but like, yeah, now she really just wants to see me. Like, I'm so happy you guys get to see this because it really probably means nothing to you. So let's just keep moving. Hopefully she stops. So what next? So then I have this little drum loop here that I made. Mind you, so far we've been like 99% with Logic Pro instruments. All these instruments I use here are Logic Pro, besides that one little Sylenth effect, and then a little bit of splice instruments because I'm trying to use my splice credits because I accumulated so much from not using them. This is a ghost kick for side chaining, and then I have this drum kit. You can go into this library, Logic's library, and you'll find something like this. the MIDI looks like this, and it's just a drum kit. That's all it is. And then I, for some reason, it sounds really like cut off. It sounds low passed, and I don't know why. But then I added some extra hits here, and then added some more hits here. And then I went with this nice chariot kick. That is a splice kick. I didn't like the kick that came with these kits, so I went third party on that kick. Went on splice.com and found that kick. So then we make it to this section of our song. So let's just play everything I just showed you, and then we'll move on to the next part of the song. And we'll make this tutorial amazing. Hold on. So much fun. I love this project so much. So what you hear come in here is this. It's kind of like a miniature bass line. They were big chords in the background because I used to have a build up on this. I'll be completely honest with you. It used to do this thing where it did this big build up and then dropped into a drop. But then I gave it to my brother for feedback and my girlfriend for feedback, and they said, take the build-up out. It just sucks. So I took out the build-up. These were part of the build-up, but it looks like instead of deleting them, I just threw a low-pass filter on them entirely and took out all the high-end and used it as a bass line that is low-cut. So pretty much this sound makes 0 sense. I didn't even know it was in there. And then we hear this in the background. Just some beautiful notes. Beautiful notes. And all it is the classic E piano from Logic. Cool stuff. And, like, it made this beautiful sound because I threw a lot of reverb with a lot of decay on it. And I don't know, I just hit the right notes on that. And that's why I think they worked so well. But then we hear another thing in the background. These guys. And a few people asked me what this was. It's just a choir. If you go into choir over here, and boys chamber ensemble, that's it. And then threw quite a filter on there, as you can see. It's a nice little notch filter, I think that's called. And then some high space designer with dry, completely swiped of it. So then I got this. And I hit another note right here. Beautiful sound. You could do anything you want with that sound. And yeah. So that's how I did this. And then we get into the fun part, which is the drop. So right before I get into that, I made this little drum roll here with the Neo Soul drum kit. Because then we go into this. Now we are at the drop. Okay, so right before I explain anything about the drop, I will say this song is mastered in this exact project. I do not bounce my stuff into stems, although I should, but I like to get them out, so I master them as much as I could in the project. I used a compressor for input gain, and then, so there's no compression being done with this compressor. And then I use the Fab Filter multi-band with a preset for it because I'm not like, my mixing sucks, so I rely on stuff like this to help me. So literally I just used a preset for my master compression. I know it's bad, but it works. Like, it totally works. It sounded way better than whatever I did. And then this EQ is just not done. I normally have my EQs like looking crazy on the master. I don't know, I must have like fell asleep or something, but then I limited it also with another Fab Filter plugin, the limiter, Fab Pro L, whatever. So let's get to this. So first thing we hear is this, and I know this is probably a question on your guys' minds. This is made with Serum. See Serum right here? I promise you, as soon as I figure out how to make this sound with anything in Logic Pro X, like with Alchemy, I will do that immediately and make a tutorial on it. But I suck at anything that has to do with dubstep, so it's just not going to happen yet. But I promise you, it will happen. I will make a tutorial on how to do these sounds with Alchemy. But yeah, I suck at anything dubstep. That's why there are creations like Serum to help us people make these sounds. All I really did was I picked this wave. It's a stock wave. It's called the BSOD square. It's a form of a square wave. I actually had a normal square in here before this, but then this one sounded a little more raspy. So then I jacked up the unison because that's all I know how to do, and then messed around with the detune, and then messed around with this LFO and the envelope because I had to pitch this sound down. So I don't know, I'm like thinking to myself here as I'm explaining to this because I can't even follow myself. I'm just gonna give you this preset. So look in my my description for this preset. I'll give it to you because I don't know what I did. I just did a bunch of stuff and came out with that. It sounds really awesome. It sounds huge. You can literally use it anywhere you want. And this is the same thing that you hear here, only I just had different settings on the LFO and I bounced it out for this part. And yeah, I'm gonna give you this preset, okay? So look in the description for that and I'll give it to you, and you better make a dope song with it. So let's go on to these chords. The chords are the same chords that I used in the beginning of the song. Totally unplanned, but it's just how it went. Oh yeah, that's in the background. Hold on. That is just white noise. Alright. Hold on. Where are the chords? Okay, right here. So these chords, I made these chords with Alchemy, and then I had like 3 layers of them, so I had to bounce them out just so I had more control over them. I had to make those dinky things sound massive, and the way I did that was I just threw very complementary layers, like a nice big bass line, and nice big drums, and a nice side chain, so they actually sound like this. All sidechaining was done with the Fab Filter Pro C 2. If you're looking for a plugin that does killer sidechaining, I swear by this. It just it pushes really hard. Like, it pushes a lot harder than a lot of compressors. That's what I find. Sidechaining was always a struggle, and then as soon as I started sidechaining with this, I just found that it does a really hard sidechain. It's a good plugin for sidechaining. What else do we have here? These little tip I actually learned been trying to step up my mixing game, so I mix these right into my limiter. And I try to keep my snare 3 decibels lower than my kick. And then my kick, I don't want it to be the biggest thing in my limiter. I try to keep everything even, and that's how I think you can get a nice even mix. So this sound is another one of those Super Mario sounds that I just love. It's just like one of those weird, you know, whatever, glitchy sounds. I'm not going to explain how to make this one either. I'll just give it to you along with that other bass drop sound. So, this sound is just white noise. You need white noise. White noise makes everything sound bigger. So, I threw it on there, and that's it. That is literally all I use here. Wait a second. I hear vocals. Where are the vocals? Oh yeah, right here. Oh yeah, okay. Excellent. Well, I did a tutorial on these vocals. These vocals actually come stock in Alchemy. So if you have Logic X and Alchemy, you have these. And to get to these vocals, you just load this preset, Digital Vox C2. There's actually hundreds of presets, hundreds of vocal presets loaded in Alchemy, and they are amazing, as you can see, because I managed to make a nice lead for my drop with them. I added a little bit of bend to them, and as you can hear, they're repeating. And the reason they're repeating is because of this arpeggiator here. I just threw that on there and turned the rate to 8 to 1/8 and got these nice vocals. So then the second half of the drop. Oh yeah, wait a second. I have this nice little like thing here that I've never done before. Hold on. This right here. So this thing, these are just random splice samples. There's a nice low end hit, and then here's a big stomp. Cool. And then a crash. You know, these, and then I don't know what the hell Cashmere Kern is, whatever, but they're just all over Splice, and they really do make good samples. So I download their stuff because it's like all I could find. So then, oh yeah, one thing I want to mention about this thing right here. So that's like the first hit when you're entering the drop. And I will say, the only thing that makes this thing work as good as it works is precise side chaining. At first, I had a slow release, and it sounded like shit. Then at first I had a fast release, and it sounded like shit. But then I put on a slow release, and it was like day and night. It sounds so good with a slow release. Alright, so now for the break. What do we have for the break? Now you guys already know this part because it's the same as the beginning. But then I come into here. And I added some of Logic Pro X's Glass Marimba. And it's just like a nice little jingle. And I have this thing. I don't know what this is. Oh, that is so cool. I love that so much. This is just a little thing another thing that makes Sylenth amazing. It's how easy you can do that. I made that with Sylenth, and it's just like a downfall-y thing. I think they're they're really cool things to kind of master and mess around with. So then I have this boys thing at the end of the break, and then we just pretty much go right back into the same thing, everything I just pointed out to you. So there is the project. It's really a straightforward project. Everything you hear and everything you think I did, I probably did. So it's not, I no really big tricks in here. I just threw everything in here to make a good sounding tune. No like glitchiness or anything. I want to share this on Splice so bad, but I mastered it with Fab Filter, and I did sidechaining with Fab Filter, and I don't think anybody has Fab Filter, or not enough of you have Fab Filter. So if you were to download this project file, I don't think it would be of any value to you, to be quite honest. So yeah, I don't want to put it up there, but I will give you that bass droppy thing, and I forget what else I said I was going to give you, but I'll just watch this video real quick and and find out what it is that I wanted to give to you. So there you go, guys. My name's Alex Rome. Stay tuned for more cool stuff.